首先我们先来悼念 Steve Jobs。Steve Jobs 呢，刚好在去年的这个时刻过世了。那他的家乡美国加州的 Cupertino 特别在当天他去世的1周年，以降半旗来纪念他。Cupertino 的市长通过新闻稿特别表示，贾伯斯在 Cupertino 长大，也在这里就学。由于苹果和他的远见卓识 Cupertino 整个社区认识到，我们可以让世界变得更美好。Cupertino 将士气下降一半的做法，就是为了纪念贾伯斯的杰出以及他对社区跟人类的巨大影响力。而苹果的官方网站也特别放置了一段长1分45秒的幻灯片，播放了贾伯斯许多生前的照片。贾伯斯私人已走，可是世人迟迟的都还怀念着他。他生前的许多创意现在仍然一一出炉，包括已经出来了 iPhone 5以及即将快要出来的 Mini iPad。而苹果的股价在他离开之后，股价仍然暴涨了80%。他所创造的神话还没有结束，而更值得注意的就是这样的一个传奇人物，往往就会存在着传奇的故事。贾伯斯在1995年，可以说他人生相当倒霉的时候，接受了一个节目叫做《书呆子的胜利》。平常他后来不会接受这种访问了，因为他后来非常忙啊，而且身体也不好。那个时候他身体还可以，那他又刚好很倒霉啊，跟苹果的关系呢正处得不好，所以他就接受了《书呆子胜利》这样一个节目的访问。结果这个访问者呢，他们后来做好的母带从伦敦寄回来美国的途中就消失了，所以这是一个消失的纪录片。那当时有播出一部分，只是用了他部分的谈话，一小段。最近呢，这个纪录片居然，这个访问的片子居然在导播家里的车库里头突然被找到，就在贾伯斯逝世1周年之前。于是，这个整个袋子呢，就成了一个人们说遗失的贾伯斯，可能他留下了一项礼物，在他离开人世间1年之后，让人们重新认识当时的他。当时他接受访问的时候有几个感想，第一个感想就是我就不用逼咖，我领导 Apple 最重要的就是我要让最优秀的人彼此辩论、彼此争执，这是很棒的一个团队。这是从 Macintosh 到后来 Apple 他都坚持的理念，他一定用最优秀的人，他要网罗最优秀的人才。第二个，他认为没有什么自尊心的问题，他觉得一个需要别人呵护的人，是因为他对他自己的自信心不够足够，所以需要呵护的人也不是他需要的这个人才哈。那他就提到说，一个公司很重要的是他的品味。那他有一点不客气的说，他觉得微软就是一个不是很有品味的一家公司。他说，当然这不是批评他了，微软有它的好处。更特别的是，还在接受访问的时候啊，他说，模仿是一件好事情，抄袭也是伟大的艺术。还引用了画家皮卡索的谈话。皮卡索的谈话说，很伟大的艺术家就是懂得模仿跟懂得抄袭的。我看完了这个影片嘛，觉得蛮好笑的。很可能呢 ，HTC 跟三星应该使用他这一段访谈到法院里头告诉法官说，那这是 Steve Jobs 讲的话，我们现在打的官司是什么？来看 Steve Jobs 这一段1995年遗失的访问带。
What's it like to get rich?
It's very interesting. I was worth about over $1 million when I was 23, and over $10 million when I was 24, and over $100 million when I was 25. And it wasn't that important because I never did it for the money. I think money is a wonderful thing because it enables you to do things. It enables you to invest in ideas that don't have a short-term payback and things like that. But especially at that point in my life, it was not the most important thing. The most important thing was the company, the people, the products we were making, what we were going to enable people to do with these products. So I didn't think about it a great deal. My metaphor for a team working really hard on something they're passionate about is that it's through the team, through that group of incredibly talented people bumping up against each other, having arguments, having fights sometimes, making some noise, and working together, they polish each other, and they polish the ideas, and what comes out are these really beautiful stones. So it's hard to explain, And it's certainly not the result of one person. I mean, people like symbols, so I'm the symbol of certain things, but it really was a team effort on the Mac. And so I've built a lot of my success off finding these truly gifted people and not settling for B and C players, but really going for the A players. And I found something. I found that when you get enough A players together, when you go through the incredible work to find 5 of these A players, they really like working with each other because they've never had a chance to do that before. And they don't want to work with B and C players, and so it becomes self-policing, and they only want to hire more A players. And so you build up these pockets of A players, and it propagates. And that's what the Mac team was like.
What does it mean when you tell someone their work is shit?
It usually means their work is shit. Sometimes it means I think your work is shit, and I'm wrong. But usually it means their work is not anywhere near good enough. When you get really good people, they know they're really good, and you don't have to baby people's egos so much. And what really matters is the work. And everybody knows that. That's all that matters is the work. So, and I think if you talk to people that have worked with me, the really good people have found it beneficial. Some people have hated it, But, and I'm also one of these people that I don't really care about being right, I just care about success. I think that, Apple was in a state of paralysis in the early part of 1985, and I wasn't at that time capable, I don't think, of running the company as a whole. I was 30 years old, and I don't think I had enough experience to run a $2 billion company. Unfortunately, John didn't either. And so anyway, I was told in no uncertain terms that there was no job for me. It was really, really tragic.
Siberia.
Yeah, it would have been far smarter for Apple to sort of, let me work on the next. I volunteered. I said, why don't I start a research division? And, give me a few $1 million a year, and I'll go hire some really great people, and we'll do the next great thing. And I was told there was no opportunity to do that.
Oh, wow.
So, and my office was taken away. It was, I mean, I'll get real emotional if we keep talking about this. I think they're very strong opportunists. And I don't mean that in a bad way. And 2, they're like the Japanese. They just keep on coming. Now, they were able to do that because of the revenue stream from the IBM deal. But nonetheless, they made the most of it. And I give them a lot of credit for that. The only problem with Microsoft is they just have no taste. They have absolutely no taste. And what that means is, I don't mean that in a small way. I mean that in a big way. In the sense that they don't think of original ideas, and they don't bring much culture into their product. And you say, well, why is that important? Well, proportionally spaced fonts come from typesetting and beautiful books. That's where one gets the idea. If it weren't for the Mac, they would never have that in their products. And so I guess I am saddened, not by Microsoft's success. I have no problem with their success. They've earned their success, for the most part. I have a problem with the fact that they just make really third-rate products. Their products have no spirit to them. Their products have no sort of spirit of enlightenment about them. They are very pedestrian. And the sad part is that most customers don't have a lot of that spirit either.
But how do you know what's the right direction?
Ultimately, it comes down to taste. It comes down to taste. It comes down to trying to expose yourself to the best things that humans have done, and then try to bring those things in to what you're doing. I mean, Picasso had a saying, he said, good artists copy, great artists steal. And we have, you know, always been shameless about stealing great ideas. And I think part of what made the Macintosh great was that the people working on it were musicians and poets and artists and zoologists and historians who also happen to be the best computer scientists in the world. Well, ask yourself, what is a hippie? I mean, this is an old word, it has a lot of connotations, but to me, you know, because I grew up, I mean, remember that the 60s happened in the early 70s, right? So we have to remember that, and that's sort of when I came of age. So I saw a lot of this, and, you know, a lot of it happened right in our backyard here. So, to me, the spark of that was that there was something beyond sort of what you see every day. There's something going on here in life beyond just a job and a family and 2 cars in the garage and a career. There's something more going on. There's another side of the coin that we don't talk about much, and we experience it when there's gaps, when we kind of just aren't really, when everything's not ordered and perfect, when there's kind of a gap, you experience this inrush of something. And a lot of people have set off throughout history to find out what that was. You know, whether it's Thoreau or whether it's, you know, some Indian mystics or whoever it might be. And the hippie movement got a little bit of that, and they wanted to find out what that was about. And that life wasn't about what they saw their parents doing. And of course the pendulum swung too far the other way, and it was crazy. But there was a germ of something there. And it's the same thing that causes people to want to be poets instead of bankers, you know? And I think that's a wonderful thing. And I think that that same spirit can be put into products. And those products can be manufactured and given to people, and they can sense that spirit. I mean, if you talk to people that use the Macintosh, they love it. I mean, you don't hear people loving products very often, you know, really. But you could feel it in there. There was something really wonderful